Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole and it's by user NoPayment4096. Am I the a-hole for leaving my wife over a computer? I, 26 male, have been married to Emma for 4 years. She is a social work major whom I met in one of my gen ed classes. I explained to her that I was a mechanical engineering major. She then asked if I could tutor her in math, and that's how we began dating. Afterward, I decided to get my master's in Japanese to help me gain more career opportunities. My wife thought it was a silly idea and said she wouldn't be funding it, so we decided to keep our finances separate. It wasn't a big deal since I was still working anyway. I had just less free time, so she was making more than me during this time. It paid off, and I recently landed a high-paying job. However, with that came more stress due to having to travel to Japan often. I really wanted to get into gaming, so I invested in computer parts that cost around $1,500. Once I took the parts out of the box, my wife noticed the receipt and asked how I could be so irresponsible with my money. She assumed I still made the same amount, but when I told her that I made triple that amount, she began giving me the silent treatment. During this time, I began to notice my things were going missing. I wanted to go fishing with some friends of mine one time, and when I was looking for my rods, she must have noticed and said she had given them to her uncle. I told her not to take my stuff without asking, but I didn't mind too much because they were old, so I just bought some more. Another time, I was about to go to the gym, and I was looking for my pre-workout. I always keep 3 jars. Luckily, I had a can of Monster and that helped. I asked my wife when she got home from work and she said she gave them to her cousin. I asked her to reimburse me because they cost $50 a jar. She said I made enough to replace them and just ignored me for the rest of the day. Then one day when she thought I was sleeping, she was talking to someone on the phone, explaining how she was going to move her parents into our house. She hadn't explained this to me. We only have 3 rooms. One is her office, one is my office and a gaming room, and the other is our bedroom. She told the person on the phone, who I assume is her sister, that she's going to give my gaming setup to her brother to make room, and that I'll get over it eventually. So today I left work early to catch her in the middle of her plans. When I walked into our apartment, she and her brother were placing everything into a box. I asked what was going on, and my wife, whose face was pale, said she was cleaning when her brother came by. I asked him if he planned on taking my computer. Of course, he denied it. So I went into the room to get the iPad we shared. I looked through the texts on it, and they clearly show my wife telling him to pick it up and to deny that he had it. I told him to get out and asked her why she thought she was so entitled to my stuff. I have never yelled at her, and I guess this scared her because she began to cry. She ended up packing a bag and went to stay with her sister. While she was out, I picked up a log for my office. Her sister texted me, calling me an a-hole. I'm beginning to think I could have handled this better. I'm looking for advice. Well, OP, I don't think you're an a-hole, and also, you're not leaving your wife because of a computer. She left you when she got caught stealing from you, which is a completely different thing. And it's not just the computer, it was your pre-workout and your rods. And my only question regarding this whole thing is, why is she doing this? She gave away your rods to an uncle. She gave away your pre-workout to her cousin. And now she's giving away your computer to her brother? Also, she wants to move in her parents to your apartment without even talking to you about it? She has the gall to tell you that you're gonna get over all of this and then she just ignores you. Is this like regular behavior for your relationship? I mean, is this how your marriage works? That you guys just do whatever you want regardless of the other and tell them to get over it and then just, ignore them? OP, I have to say, your marriage does not sound like a marriage to me, at least not from the information you give us. It sounds like you're living with some sort of a roommate who doesn't like you and is out there to spite you by stealing your things away and then giving them to somebody else. If after thinking about it long and hard, you want to stay in this relationship, I think you guys need to sit down and talk about it. Maybe get some professional help to see what's going on and why your wife is doing all of this crap. But I gotta say, I wouldn't blame you if you wanted out. And what do you guys think about OP's situation? What is your judgment? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. LK Farrell says, "You are not leaving her over a computer. You are leaving her because she is an immature, dishonest a-hole who is stealing your stuff. Change the locks on the exterior doors, pack her crap and put it outside. Tell her the rest of her thieving family accomplices to come get it. Separate your finances utterly. New credit cards, kill the old joint ones, new passwords on financial accounts, including Amazon.com. File for divorce as soon as you can, not the a-hole." Cranky Biker says, "Not the a-hole, but you should have seen this coming. It started with Japanese. Sounds like she was dismissive of the hobby beyond not wanting to pay for it, because you thought it was important to mention here. Not wanting to pay for something, fine. Not wanting to pay for it and being unsupportive, a pink flag. Then you go about life together. How the hell do you get a new high-paying job and not at least share the salary differential, or that you wanted to get into gaming, or not share anything relevant personally about your life with each other? Her taking your stuff is insane, but you should have stopped after the first time it happened. It kept happening because you are passive-aggressive, totally forgiving, or whatever it is going on in your head." Divine Exodus says, "It's not about the computer, my guy. She feels snubbed by your success, and instead of being happy for you, she has turned into this skeevy little thief. In her mind, well, he can afford it now, has probably popped up a few times. She never cared to ask about how your career was going, so she has no idea how much more you're earning, and finding out the way she did has put her on edge. She should have been asking after you. It seems like you're just roommates. I don't know why you didn't share success with her, but I can't imagine why she'd think you'd be jetting off to Japan constantly for work if you hadn't had a major career change. If I came home and my boyfriend was giving away my PC, he'd be on his ass so fast he'd break the sound barrier. Just leave. Start moving important documents while she's gone. Keep them in a safe place which she doesn't have access to. Lock down your personal information, change passwords, add two-factor authentication to important accounts, and save those messages she sent to her brother before she can delete them. Best of luck, my friend. Congrats on your success." So overall, the community agrees that OP is not the a-hole, and some people are encouraging OP to just go for divorce, and others are calling out how they just really have no proper communication at all. Now, unfortunately, OP did not reply to any comments or give us an edit with additional context or anything like that, which means we move on straight to the first of two updates to see what happened next. After about a week staying at her sister's house, Emma called me and asked if we could meet up. I agreed, and we met at a park. She apologized for everything and said she thought she was doing what was best for everybody. I asked what if I just gave her expensive makeup to my sister. She admitted that she would be upset. I then asked why she'd think it would be any different for me. She didn't have a reason, and her sister told her how unfair she was to me. We decided to give it another chance, and she moved back in. It was going well until she started moving her things into my office. I asked her what she was doing, and she explained how she needed the room for her parents. I told her, no, that's not happening. I grabbed her things and placed them back into her office. I told her that they could move in, but my space had to remain untouched. On top of that, we need to determine how bills are going to be paid because of this. She called me a selfish jerk and then ran back to her sister's place. I guess her sister told her she was being inconsiderate once again, and apparently they got into an argument because the sister refuses to take their parents in and said she's tired of hearing about her problems. I agree with her. Her sister has 4 kids. Her sister called and told me everything and said that Emma had gone to her parents' house. I tried to call her, but she ignored my phone calls for 2 weeks. I decided I couldn't live like this, so I filed for divorce and handed it to her at her parents' house. She called and begged me to forgive her. I told her I was not sure if I could do it. She refused to sign the papers until we went to counseling. I refused and said she had 2 weeks to suggest that. So now I live alone. She still refuses to sign the papers, but that doesn't stop the divorce, it just makes it harder. Alright, so OP's filed and she's stalling, which means we move on straight to the final update, which is 1 month later, to see how this story ends. So Emma was cheating on me. The rods and pre-workout didn't go to her family. It went to her affair partner. I found this out when her parents invited me over to their house. When I got there, Emma looked sick, like she hadn't eaten for days. Her parents asked why I kicked her out and that my neglecting her was taking a toll on her mental health. Emma sat there silently, crying. I explained that I had never kicked her out, and Emma refused to talk to me for weeks before I sent the divorce papers. I showed them the texts of me practically begging her to come home so we could talk about it. I asked Emma why did she tell that to her parents. Her dad chimed in saying that I went back on my word about letting her brother stay with me. I asked them what were they talking about and told them that the reason we got into an argument is because they were supposed to move in. That's when Emma ran to her room before she could be questioned. Her parents explained that they were happy with their home and had no plans to leave. I then showed them the text from her sister, Mary, explaining how Emma was mad at her because she couldn't take her parents in. They were confused. I was confused. So her parents called Mary to have her explain. Her brother Jake was also there, and Emma just explained everything. Emma was cheating on me. Jake caught her and kind of blackmailed her. So, he was a freshman in high school, and we live in a better district where basketball recruiting is more likely to happen. Emma thought I would be more inclined to say yes if I thought it was her parents moving in. Emma's parents called her downstairs immediately. She listened and began to talk about her side. Her affair partner's wife found out about them, so he thought that relationship was over because she kicked him out of the house. He convinced Emma to quit her job because he got a job opportunity in a different state. The thing that Emma didn't know about was that he was secretly meeting with his wife and they got back together. He hadn't put in his 2 weeks notice yet, so his life resumed normally. Emma, on the other hand, didn't even put in her 2 weeks and just stopped showing up at work, so she was fired. And when her affair partner told her it's over, she went into a depression and tried to call me so we can go to counseling. I told her it's over and asked that she signed the paperwork so the divorce can go smoothly. She begged for another chance, but I just left her crying. Her parents informed me later that night that Emma was in the hospital from a pill attempt. I just ignored it. Her dad is asking that I come visit to show I care. I texted back that I don't care. I don't know what to do. The moment I found out about the affair, I fell out of love, but I feel cruel not going to visit her. Well, OP, I'm sorry that Emma is having some sort of a mental breakdown and did what she did with the pills, but I wouldn't go see her. I mean, she cheated on you, she stole from you, she lied to you constantly, and now you're just supposed to be there for her because she's having a breakdown because of her own actions? No, I would just tell the parents that any and all communication from this point forward will be through your lawyer, and that she hopefully signs those papers soon so you can be done with this thing. So on that note, here's wishing you the best in the future, OP. Thank you for sharing and take care. And now let's move on to the next post that also has an update. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole, and it's by user OKDream6816. Am I the a-hole for agreeing to split the bill on a double date which ended in my best friend being dumped? Hi, I, 22 female, am really unsure here. My best friend and roommate, 22 female, Amy, has been seeing a guy for 2 months. She really likes him, and it seems to be going super well. Last night, she asked if I'd go along with a blind double date. It was to be her and the guy she's dating, me and one of his friends who is single and looking. I wasn't keen at first, but she insisted, so I agreed. We got to the restaurant, which was just a nice place in our area, and things seemed to be going fine. The friend she was setting me up with was cool, but I really am not looking right now and didn't feel any kind of spark. We get to the end of dinner and the bill comes. Amy chimes in and says, "Don't worry, our men have got this." To which I say back, no, I don't mind. We'd had 2 cocktails each, all 4 of us, and it wasn't a crazy expensive place, but not cheap. A bit of back and forth happened. Amy kept insisting it is always the gentlemen who pay. So I said something like, "You do you, I'm happy to split." The guys were saying they would cover it, but both seemed uncomfortable. They paid, and then we all left. Amy and her boyfriend went back to his place. I said goodnight to his friend, and then we each went home alone. Later, Amy texted saying her man is now contemplating the relationship because he doesn't want someone who always insists the man pay. She told me I ruined it by offering to split and should have sided with her and not made things worse. She's now saying he needs time and might not want to continue the relationship with her. Am I the a-hole for this? Well, OP, no. In my opinion, you're not the a-hole, and if Amy's boyfriend is contemplating the relationship, is not because of you, it's because of her. There's two people in the relationship, him and Amy, so yeah. You didn't ruin anything. The guys offered to cover the bill. I mean, I don't know if they offered or they were more pressured by Amy telling them that they had to cover it, and you said, no thanks, I can pay my own. Which is absolutely fine and nobody should get bent out of shape about this. It seems like Amy made it an issue and got her boyfriend thinking if this is who he wants to be with. So again, if he's gonna dump her, it's not because of you, it's all because of her. And what do you guys think about OP's predicament? What is your judgment? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Kiwi Honey says, not the a-hole. Tell your friend to look in the mirror. She created this problem herself. You didn't cause her to have those opinions and you certainly didn't ask her to voice them. That she doubled down on it when you said you still wanted to pay your own way was her own fatal mistake. She needs to own her actions. Vocalizing her outdated ideas created a situation 100% of her own making. Your friend is looking for someone to blame for her boyfriend not liking her antiquated and frankly unfair views on how relationships should work. You just happen to be an easy target for her. Don't give it another thought. You have every right to pay your own way. Peony Pony says, not the a-hole. I squirmed a little when I read the "Don't worry, our men have got this," and "It is always the gentlemen who pay." Your friend has some very outdated views about dating. All you did was offer to pay your share of the bill on a blind date. You weren't using a stranger for free drinks and dinner. Your friend's boyfriend of 2 whole months was rightfully uncomfortable with her insistent your male companions pay the bill. It's not your fault your friend opened her mouth and inserted her foot into it. And Opie responds, thanks, she's never usually like this. Doesn't make guys pay for drinks if we go out. I'm thinking she's acting this way because of her new relationship, but I don't know for sure since she still isn't talking to me or even replying. And LC78 says, not the a-hole. She's the one that said the guys pay. His reaction to that is based on her statement alone. And our man? No, this was the first time you'd met your date. And Opie responds, I'm thinking because both the guys are tight, she thought me and the friend would hit it off, making it a thing. Therefore, they would be our men. Well, the community agrees that OP is not the a-hole and that this is all Amy's doing. So now we're gonna move on to the 3 updates that OP has given us, which are short, and I'm gonna read back to back to see how the story ends. Update 1. Thanks so much everyone for your thoughts on this one. In my comments, I told many of you that Amy wasn't talking to me, and she still isn't talking to me. You could cut glass with the tension in our place right now. She and the guy aren't talking either. I'm trying hard here, but another week and maybe the friendship has run its course, honestly. I'm sensing a lot more underlying issues that can only come from communication, but hey. OP's update 2. I'm now not a girl's girl because I didn't back her without being told I should or given a kind of heads up. I responded that if I wanted to pay for myself, especially because I didn't see myself and the blind date friend having a second date, I would be happy to put in for my portion. Friendship is effectively over and I'm looking to move out. OP's final update. Amy is now trying to apologize because she can't afford the rent on her own or get someone else to move in on such short notice. I feel horrible, but I know I need to be around supportive people. Thanks again to everyone. Smiley face. Yeah, OP, it sounds like the relationship ran its course and it's a good thing that you're looking for another place. So here's wishing you all the best on that search. Take care, OP, and thank you for sharing. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out, so here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later, and also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.